Hello and welcome back to the More Than Mindset Show. My name is Kim Guillory and I am your host. My guest today is Monique. She has been on the show probably the most featured guest of all time. Monique and I have been working together for quite a few years, and I like to bring her on when there's new awareness, when there's new changes, when she has recognition of what she thought and now what she knows and how she's doing things differently. And I think it's easy. Like if you go back and just follow all of the podcasts that we have done together, you will see the changes in her energy, in her attitude, in her understanding, the way that she presents herself, but also the business, like the way that she does business from the start to now is completely different. And I think it's a great example of our own transformation and how when we first start off, we think like we know what it's supposed to look like. And then we realize it doesn't look like that. And then we change it. And then we thought we knew what that was supposed to look like, but then it doesn't. And that has happened again recently. So, in light of doing the Women and Wealth series, I've been talking a lot about multiple six-figure earners, seven-figure earners, investing and scaling, what to do with your intellectual property, and how we change as we change, our business changes. So thanks for coming on, Monique. Do you want to just tell them who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm Monique Derouen. I am a mind body coach and massage mentor.
So what does that look like, massage mentor? So I know you're a massage therapist. You're also one of my trained coaches. So you're a massage therapist and a coach. What
Yep.
do you mean by my massage mentor?
Yeah. So recently I was asked to start working with some massage therapists and share my journey and help them get through some of the same challenges that I went through as I was, packaging and programming and doing different techniques on the table. It's new to them and I'm on the other side of it. So I said yes. I started teaching some CEUs recently and working with some massage therapists and just helping them gain control of their business and their mindset and their money really on the table. So that's where I'm at now.
How is that different from what you were doing before on our last interview?
Yeah. So before I was still working with a lot of private clients, working mainly with chronic pain, working with that family generational pain. And that was working with the common human out in the world that was just suffering. And this is more focused towards people who are wanting to build their business and they are wanting to do similar stuff that what I've done. So I think it's great that if we can train more people in the modalities that I've used that have worked, now they can help more people heal, help more people out in the world.
hmm So what do you think is the primary problem with massage therapists not earning enough money, right? That's the common theme in the industry. Um, what was the experience like for you? What do you know now that you didn't know then? And what are you hearing from other massage therapists in the industry?
Yeah. What I'm hearing a lot of is they don't know how to get clients and they don't know how to keep clients coming in to create that sustainable business. So they're just kind of all over the place doing whatever. And I remember being there. That was a big part of my story in the beginning. And what I learned was there are people that are willing to invest in their health and they're willing to invest long term and they're willing to be clients, that can be sustainable and predictable in their business. But how I got there and how I thought that would look were completely different.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, yeah. I thought I needed to run ads. I needed to, be all over social media. I thought I needed to have this huge public presence where people knew me as a massage therapist and they would refer people to me and come to me. I tried gimmicks like, buy five, get one free, Groupons, things like that. But what I found was when I marketed to a specific group of clients that could solve their problem and they got the results, they wanted to stay and they wanted to share this with the people that they loved that were also going through similar things. And that's where I kind of started working with some of those families and, the other people in their worlds. And it became a sustainable practice versus I'll take you, I'll take you, I'll take you, I'll take anybody. And I didn't know that that was possible. I didn't know that was a thing.
So are you saying like you were just always looking to fill a spot before?
Oh, yeah,
And then you realize like, no, if I offer something unique and specific to their problem, that I can get long-term clients. Is that what it
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Long-term clients and long-term results.
was? It just a matter of not experiencing that before, or was it a matter of not believing that was possible? Which was, did you not even know it
Yeah.
existed, or did you not believe it was possible?
I didn't know it existed. When we first started talking about this and I saw people or heard people doing it, I still didn't really get it
Mhm.
because I thought, well, yeah, but you still have to have 100 clients. You still, and that wasn't the case. I mean, I could take 20 clients for a year and stay full.
Mhm.
I didn't get that. And again, I had never experienced it, so I didn't really understand it. Um, so I think it's kind of both.
Yeah.
I think it hits both sides.
It's almost like living in the belief that it is true that massage therapists can't make a lot of money.
Right, right. I mean, that's what we were told. That's what people say, and when you hear other therapists saying the same thing that you're saying, it's relatable and it's
And
yeah,
it's true for most. If we were to be honest,
right.
it is true
Yes,
for most. I very seldom talk to a massage therapist that is satisfied with their revenue, that is satisfied with their business, the nature of the business, what they're doing. Mostly what I hear is they want to get out of it because they can't figure it out. That's
right.
been my experience.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I've talked to dozens of massage therapists over the last few months, and I'm ready to throw in the towel. I can't find the clients. I'm not making enough. And it's painful because I know there's a solution to it, you know?
And being able to do it in a pleasurable way. That was,
Right.
when I started the signature massage and, which Monique is teaching now, if anybody is interested in that, it is such a gentle on the therapist technique
Mhm.
that you'll see that you can do this however long you want to because it's actually nurturing to your body and to yourself. And I was just doing it naturally, so I didn't even realize that people hadn't figured that out, or massage therapists hadn't figured that
Right.
out. But how would you describe signature massage compared to massage therapy?
Yeah, yeah. This massage changed my body. It changed my business. When I was doing traditional therapeutic and deep tissue and Swedish massage, clients felt great. They left the table, they felt great. It was amazing. They paid me. None of that was the issue. But my joints were kind of getting overworked sometimes, and they would go out and things would happen. And it's almost like the entire body reactivated the pain that they came in to fix the band-aid, the issue that they were dealing with. But when I learned about the signature massage and I experienced it for myself, my nervous system was so calm. My body felt so easy. Everything felt easy in my nervous system, in my body, as the person receiving it. And then when I learned it and was able to share it with my clients, they were telling me the same thing, and it was lasting longer. So their results were longer lasting. And so they naturally wanted to come back because they were getting
Mhm.
that true satisfaction in their body. And I realized, as someone who's had multiple surgeries, I'm hypermobile, have all these joint things going on, my body was not exhausted. My energy was not exhausted. I wasn't annoyed. It was so different for me as a therapist to touch people, go into that deep space, and it be gentle on me and them. And we both got good results.
Mhm.
And they wanted more. They were like, what did you just do? I want more of that. I need more. And they're like, yeah, let's do it.
Can
And
you
it evolved.
Can you speak more to how it's individualized and specific to each client? For those who are listening and they're like, what is signature massage? By the way, the guys, that's just the name of the training. And the actual process of it is the massage therapist brings in their specific thing and then we package it. Monique is going to be teaching all of this as anyone's interested. Her information will be below. And what I want to hear from your take on, or your understanding, or what they're telling you, the feedback, how is it different for them? That's how it was different for you.
Mhm.
How can you tailor and make it specific and actually make more money with signature massage? Like,
Yeah. Um, Different for the client was kind of like what I was saying in the beginning. When they got off the table, they were lighter. They didn't have that next day soreness in their muscles from getting in there and doing deep work. And it lasted longer. The result that they got on the table stayed with them. So when they got home and the kids' room was a mess, or they needed tires changed or whatever was going on, the shoulders didn't start hurting again immediately. So it was an evolution of their body, not just this feels good right now. I'm relaxed right now. It stayed with them longer.
so do you think it's the reset that they were experiencing, but maybe couldn't put words to?
I think it's definitely a nervous system reset. Yeah, a body reset and a regulation. When they're feeling aligned, everything's easier for them.
Mhm. What I liked about it is like being, because I get kind of bored,
Yeah.
was that it was for every new client, it was a new challenge on how
Yes.
theirs was going to look
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah. And that's it. I had all these CEUs, I had all these certifications and modalities, which I love, but there wasn't one modality that I was certain would be good for every client that came into my table. And so being able to weave and blend those in, and if somebody had migraines, this is what it was going to look like. And if somebody had back pain, this is what it would look like. And if somebody was dealing with gut issues, this is what it would look like. And yeah, I think that's a huge thing too, being able to customize, tailor each client's massage to fit them. And, I work with clients in person still. None of their massages look the same, but they all say the same thing.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me, what I recognized and saw, and even in my own experience, was I did feel like it was tailored for me.
Yeah.
Like how did you know what I needed? Right.
Yeah.
And that kept me going back. Like, how did you know what I specifically needed? I felt, I'll say special, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
getting
Well,
that
and because
attention.
we have that formula for that now, right? In the trainings, in the things that we teach, we have the formula to give the therapist to communicate that with the client so that it is for the client. And I
Mhm.
think that's a beautiful bonus.
And what about we've been talking a lot about somatics, and you're doing the somatic CEU coming up, and we have a lot of massage therapists that have been inquired. They're recognizing the unresolved trauma, just our world in the last 5 or 6 years. It's kind of hard to ignore that that's what's happening. And I think as massage therapists, we're kind of under the radar. People don't realize all the other tools that we have that, we can help in a lot of special ways. So, do you want to speak to your recognition of how you realized like somatics was going to be beneficial in the massage room? Because we're already doing it as coaches and,
Right.
doing it like really understanding what was happening with the emotions. Do you want to use your language, your understanding?
Yeah. Yeah. So I remember the first time I put a client on the table and they came to me for somatic therapy, to do somatic therapy off the table. And I said, let's try this, lay down on my table. We did these specific moves and sounds and vibrations and things with them. And as I'm manipulating the tissue and they're doing the somatic work inside themselves, well, now something new is created. And it went further than traditional somatics did because I can do somatics from the computer, I can do somatics in a group, but this was, again, personal, customized to their body. So I think the theme that I like to work with is what do you need and where can I meet you where you are, instead of this is the step by step by steps by step of this modality and this is the way we have to do it.
Yeah, that brings to mind something that we could probably dive into with the body and nervous system is as the therapist, recognizing the need for the customizing, but recognizing how, like, if I did compression on you, and that
Mhm.
agitated your nervous system because it brought up some unresolved issues. Or if
Right.
I did Traeger and then that brought you back to a memory where that was traumatic. Or even light gentle touch. Like I had a treatment done this past week that it just agitated my nervous system. And
Mm.
when a massage therapist isn't aware
Yeah.
and understanding our responses, our nervous systems, our information center, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. So when we're training in the somatic massage, we're talking about what somatics is. They get the understanding of that. But then when someone gets on the table, now I walk them through how to respond if this comes up or that comes up. And they, again, they have a script, they have a language, they know exactly how to go in and hold space for the client to go through whatever they're going through without therapy, without talking, without, crossing any of the scope of practice stuff. It's a very natural process.
So you, like I, or like spa freaks, right? We're always going wherever we're at, we're going to figure out how to get someone else's hands on us. How was that experience for you, seeing several different types of therapists and them not recognizing what was agitating you, what was triggering you? How would you, because I
Yeah,
think that's the thing we have in common is what we recognized in being serviced.
yeah.
That was such a disservice that we decided we wanted to take this to the world. We're like, I want to have great massages everywhere as I go.
For me, I remember Chipodamont, like when people do the little on the back. Like I wanted to punch. I wanted to pull my therapist's hair. I wanted them off of my body. It was so aggressive. And she was really not being strong, or it was, my whole body began to itch. Right. And I remember that moment specifically looking back now, and I said, everything was coming up to the surface inside my body. It was all bubbling up. Right. And I didn't know that that was old trauma and old dysregulation. I didn't know that's what it was. I was just like, don't fucking do that to me. Stop it. And I was kind of rude to her. I was probably cocky a little bit. And, anyways, years later, I've talked to her about this. She was the therapist that worked on me before. But I explained, like I didn't know all of this was in the issues in my tissue. I didn't know it was in my tissue, and it's coming through the surface. Like you said with Traeger, like that's one of the things that I love working with people. But I know it's going to bring something up, and I can hold the space for them now. Where in the past, when it happened, it was just like, what do I do with you freaking out, or squirming on the table, or maybe they cry or they have emotion. We weren't necessarily taught how to handle that kind of stuff, but with some somatic and signature and the things that we're teaching massage therapists now, there's a space to be there without it affecting the therapist. I think that's really important too, because I know a lot of therapists get scared of this kind of stuff and they kind of push away from it because they don't want that type of response. But there is a way that you regulate and hold the space where they can process it, and it doesn't have to energy vampire you or suck you out or create weird emotions in your body either, which I was really shocked about too. That was all part of the process.
Interesting. I wonder how many massage therapists are not massage therapists anymore because of like reactionary stuff, like
Yeah.
suddenly the client's crying, or they when they tap into energy,
Yeah.
you don't even like you don't even know that this is going to happen till it happens a lot of times, because when you're really in your groove and you're into it, and like we are energetic bodies, we are beings in this meat suit. And I mean, the longer you're a therapist, the more you see, the more you recognize, like the interesting craniosacral, regulating the nervous system, somatics, everything we're talking about today is not spoken about in school. When you and I spoke about energy, like people ran out of the room and went hide in the laundry room because they, thought they were going to go to hell or whatever. And that was super interesting. We were doing a thing on the chakras and they were
Yeah.
like, they can't stay in the room for that. Like they
Yeah.
ran away. And so I'm curious how many massage therapists just were like, I don't want to
Yeah.
go near that. And vice versa. I wonder how many people will never get a massage again because of either the treatment, the trigger,
Yeah.
The modality, the thing that they didn't like that agitated, they don't even know why it agitated them. Like, what do you think on both sides of this
Yeah.
because of not having this awareness or words to put to the reaction?
Hmm. I think it's really interesting. And when you said the client, it made me think of something. So when we bought our house in Louisiana, my husband was very sore from carrying boxes. And I called a massage therapist in town. I'm like, hey, get my husband on your table. He goes there and he's like, don't ever do that to me again. He was so uncomfortable
Mhm.
getting his tissue worked on. And I was like, oh man, like grab me, rub me, like, touch my body. I don't care. But for him, it was not comfortable. And I often wonder if he had had a different type of massage therapist or a different style of massage, would he still think that? Because I'm a therapist and I don't want to work on him all the time, but I've never even put him on the massage table ever. So I think it is interesting that clients are experiencing things that might not be correct for them, and they don't have the voice, they don't have the language to express it or to say, don't do that. I don't like that. I've asked someone to stop massaging me and got off their table. Like before, I've literally gotten up off a massage. I paid her, I tipped her. I was like, look, it's me, it's not you, but I can't do this. I have the awareness of that. He didn't. Maybe other people don't. I don't know. From a technician side, again, I remember the first time somebody had an emotional response on my table. And I've been in the service industry since the 90s. I've touched bodies since the 90s. So seeing people go through emotions has never been a thing. But for some reason, vulnerably on the table, disrobed, it was like, what what do I do with you right now? Like what is appropriate, in that vulnerable space. And so learning these things, now I'm able to make new agreements with the clients while we're there. Hey, I see you, I hear you. Let's do this, let's not do that. But I have the clarity and confidence in myself to be that type of therapist now. And a lot of it is because of, the mindset work that we've done around this and really dialing in on these specific modalities that are made to help people move through this kind of stuff. And not every client that I work with is that deep. Like not everyone is, but
Right.
some of them are.
Yeah, well, we tend to attract those who are working through traumas,
Yeah.
just from life itself on, what we went through, what we experienced, and what our desire was to help other people. Two things came up whenever you said that. Number one was no distraction. So it's not just the vulnerable state, it's that there's no distraction. There's
Yeah.
no TV on. They're not playing
Yeah.
on their phone. They can't run out of the room. And so it's that confrontation. And I don't mean that in a way that we put them in a box and we make them confront, just
Right.
confrontation in general due to no distraction or a lack of distraction. That was the first thing that came up. And the second is like by learning to communicate better and the mindset and the permission and prefacing, like if something does, we can reassure them that they can tell us anything and we won't take it personal. Like, hey, let me know if you don't like this or if you want me to do it differently or if this is something that's uncomfortable. Remember whenever we first started Signature Massage, I was like, hey, I'm going to do something different. Is that okay? I'll give you an extra 15 minutes. I just
Yeah.
want to see what your response is. Would you be willing to do that? That's how it started. And then
Hmm.
before I knew it, that's all I was doing.
Right.
But I remember one particular client, and tell me if you've experienced anything like this. I was doing signature massage, and I was on like we were in the middle phase, I would say, and we're kind of bringing in a little bit of craniosacral, and every time, not kidding, every time I got to this one area doing this one thing, she would tell me this recipe.
Mm.
Same recipe. I'm like, and session after set, I was like, this is the weirdest thing. And
Yeah.
so something in that moment was coming up. And she wasn't someone who was like touchy-feely or talked about a lot of deep stuff. And I was always curious if when I got to her head in this area, and the craniosacral, it's very intimate.
Yeah.
It's like it's I wonder if it was this, there was no distraction and it was this discomfort of
Hmm.
confrontation and
Yeah.
and her mind just like had to come up with something to say or something to talk about. It's not like we were talking.
Yeah. 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 I would say yes, I've had situations like that. I've had situations where I touch somebody at a certain body part and they tell me the same bad story about their kid, about their husband, about, whatever the pain point is. But I think that when there is silence and the body is shifting, something,
Yeah.
and I've said this for years. I can ride in a car by myself for hours with no radio and no noise, and I have nothing, but I know how to quiet my mind. Where I watch people who always need to talk, who always need to have noise, who always have to have something because I think the noise in their brain is so uncomfortable, you know? And so I would relate it to that in the same way, I've never had a recipe come up, but similar stories in the same spots all the time, almost verbatim, word for word. But yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what that, you know,
I don't know if
protection
it
was for her.
was, yeah, I don't know if it was just it was just something to talk about and she needed something to talk about because it was so uncomfortable,
Yeah.
in that one thing. And, because the signature massage is like, it feels like your muscles is just like falling off your bone, like baby back ribs. I mean, it's so delicious. And I don't know that everybody is like used to being in that relaxed of a
Yeah.
state. She's coming from work, she's in the medical field, it's just it's like life and death.
Hmm.
She's driving in and all of a sudden it's like, let down your guard and let it go. And it's like the brain's like, oh, hell no, I'm not going there. What you were just saying about talking in the car, I thought of this. So I traveled back from Florida to Louisiana a couple of days ago, and it was like 18 hours. It was an extra 3.5 hours of traffic. And I was fine. Like no radio, never have the radio on. Um, and I was sitting on the bridge in traffic, and I thought, because I had a friend with me the day before, but I dropped her off at the airport and she flew back to Louisiana. I drove back to Louisiana. I do believe it's because they don't like my driving. And I was like, whatever. And this came up for me. If somebody else would have been in the car, we have the need to talk.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of refreshing not to have to talk. Like, I know we like the company,
Hmm.
but sometimes I just don't like, I'm fine in the silence with someone else and not talking. But I don't know
I,
if that's
I
everybody.
that's what I'm saying. I think it's a comfort thing. Like I'm so comfortable in me, I can do that.
Mhm.
My husband and I have rode hours in a vehicle and never said a word to each other, except for should we get food? Is there a bathroom soon?
Yeah.
Like what our body needs, but no conversation. And I realize I'm so comfortable being in his presence that I don't need to
Yeah.
have any distraction.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's that intimacy with the massage and on the table and especially with the techniques, the mind body techniques that we bring in, because
Yeah.
they're not common. Even when I was doing like signature massage with aromatouch, like mixing it
Mhm.
in with the things, they don't have anything to compare it to. There's nothing similar. And so I guess maybe that's just like a reactionary response to what the hell is this? I like it. I think I like it. Maybe I like it. It's like when I
Yeah.
tried Chinese for the first time, I was like, and then sushi, and then before you know it, you're craving it.
I love that you say this though, because I've had probably two clients in the last 7 or 8 years that were like, we're never doing that again. And I was like, great, we're not a good fit. Go across the street, go see what's her name. She'll give you all the deep tissue you want. But
Mhm.
speaking from my personal experience as someone who received a lot of deep tissue for a long time, I believe I needed to feel deep tissue because I was so shut off to everything in general. And it was the only thing that I could feel. And as I began to move through some of these things with mindset and mind body connection and heal those old wounds that were inside of me, I craved that gentler, you know, more nurturing style of massage therapy. And I still go get Swedish massages. I have a girl in town that I love. She's very good at what she does. But man, when one of our trained technicians work on me with signature massage, it is a completely different response in my body.
I know. I wish we had one of us in every state. So here is a shout out to everyone listening, no matter where you are located. If you have a massage therapist that is open to new modalities and wants to be trained in what we are talking about, please email me, send them to me, send them to our social, Monique's social page or mine, and just have them follow, ask questions, DM us. This has been the mission for 10 years now. We're like, and when someone comes to our retreats and events, they're like, well, where can I get that? Where can I? And we're like, we send your therapist to us. Like
Yeah.
we're getting the word out. We have trainings available, Chicago, Louisiana, Colorado. We're looking for more, not just more therapists, massage therapists who want to do it, but also more CEU providers.
Mhm.
Anyway, so we want to get this into the hands of more people, literally into the hands of more people. So let's do a full circle here. All of the podcasts that I have done with you have been about massage therapy, or the other service that you were providing, and coaching. You have
Correct.
not left the coaching arena, so I want to be clear on that. Monique and I have actually partnered on a lot of this, so she's helping me to teach. She has been hugely successful since year one and is still a learner. She was on the call today. She was still coming to the coach training call. She helps me train the other coaches, and you're still a student.
Yeah.
I think you're a better student than you were at the beginning.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, well, once I got through that initial, understanding my value, working through all the mind BS, it, yeah, it changed. It changed me. It changed the way that I communicate with my people, my loved ones, my clients. It blew my mind. Blew my mind. I never knew this was available. I didn't know.
Mhm.
And
And you
then
have
once I
so
knew and
much.
experienced, it was different.
Sorry, I didn't want to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Well, you just have so much conviction. You're
Yeah.
so convicted, and your belief is so high and strong, and your trust in the work that we're doing, that it's almost like you can't not.
Yeah. No, I think I'll die if I go away from this. And when I'm talking to people who are in similar situations to where I once was, and I know that this can help them if they would just commit to it, like it's almost it's criminal, it's painful for me not to share what I know. And also I know not everyone can receive it,
Yeah, that's what I was going to
and
ask you.
that's
It's so
yeah,
painful to be when it's misunderstood. Like that,
right.
it's honestly a lack of experience to be able to relate it to something. I mean, I actually don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just realized that the resistance to receiving something so loving and gentle and helpful, beneficial, um, is a challenge. Is a
yeah,
challenge for some people. There's so much
100%.
distrust. We were talking about this on the coach training call today. There, so many people have bought into things and not satisfied, and now that's the new memory, and so that's the lens that they look through, and so it is painful to be the one that's trying to give this this great thing, and uh,
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, not everyone will want to do this, but the ones of you out there that know, like, know that this is where you're supposed to go, but you just don't know how to get there, definitely connect with us. There's so many things that we can share and offer
how
through
would
our
you
experience.
how would you describe that person? Like when I think of them, they've been in massage over 10 years. They want more. They love what they do. They don't love the way they're doing it anymore. They're outgrowing, they want to know and do more and offer more,
Hmm.
but they don't, their clientele doesn't know what more is. And so they kind of feel trapped between, I have to keep doing this because this is what pays me and this is what they want. And if I try something else, I'm going to lose what I have.
Yeah.
What are you hearing about the person that's
Yeah.
want more but doesn't know how to get out of it?
I think it is that same thing. They want more, but they don't know. And I think it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of not knowing what to expect. And I totally get it. I mean, I remember being there. And I remember the day that, you said, take all these things off your menu and we're just going to do these one or two things. And I was like, oh my gosh. But what I didn't know is there was a whole community of people, a whole population that wanted that and that were waiting for me. And as soon as I became the person who did that, I mean, they just started showing up everywhere. And I stayed full with a wait list for years. It was just like, I cannot take another client. I can't do more. And then that's when I was really able to customize my programs and my pricing and really, here's the thing. They will go to someone else and get what they need if it's not me.
Hmm.
So why wouldn't I move into the space I wanted to be in?
Hmm.
There was two things that I saw. One, I was afraid that I would lose clients. The other one was that I was afraid I would lose clients. The clients that I loved, that I was so committed to all those years, had grandfathered in, but I didn't realize that somebody else would come take that spot and they would take care of them. They would find that next person,
Hmm.
just like these other people would find me. And I think that limbo space in between was really scary. And until I regulated myself and obviously did some coaching through this kind of stuff, some mindset work and some mind body connection. Then I could see it clearly and committed to it. And clarity follows the commitment, right? Like the world responds to the commitment, not
Hmm.
the desire. So,
So I was listening to your training that you did the other day, and I wanted to ask this. I wanted to like pop in and ask this and get you to talk about it. But it was basically, Monique, what made the switch for you, what you were doing before, and this sudden obvious passion for helping these massage therapists? Is it because you want to see more of it in the world, or is it because you want to help them get what you got? Where is
yeah,
it coming from?
here's the thing. I thought that coaching was going to be everything for me. I thought I'm going to die a coach. Like I'm going to go in and be a coach. But I was still seeing my private clients on the table and there's something magical that happens when I put my hands on people. And my clients started flying in from across the world to come spend a night at my house so I could do body work because I had been coaching them online so long. And I was like, I really want to dig my hands into your tissue. I really want to see what comes up, and they're like, let's make it happen. And as I started doing that, and then I had clients that were inviting me out of the country, right? I have an opportunity to go to Korea this year. I went to, Cabo last year with some clients. And what I saw was my passion is still to touch people and help them on a physical level. And I can do coaching on screen all day long and I can get you breakthroughs and we can do amazing things. But when they're in our presence and we can physically touch them, there's something else that unlocks a little bit deeper. And as I was doing that, I just got more and more motivated because I realized as a massage therapist, this could build out that easily predictable 6-figure year without burnout. And I was like, if I am doing this and it works and we know where I started, other people can do this. And as I started talking to other massage therapists, they were like, I'm interested in these modalities, these techniques, these things you do. And I was like, oh, there are other people like me that want to stay in this field long term, but don't know how because they've only been shown the hustle and the deep tissue and the physical pain. And it's so different when you
Mm,
do it from this angle. So I want to show them and they've asked. So there is a demand. I
mm,
know they're out there. I know they're listening to this. I know they're shaking their heads and they want this. And so let's just do it. Let's
yeah.
just do it. Stop waiting. Let's build your business. Let's build a practice that's sustainable. Get what you want. Don't settle. Don't do things just because you have to. And I think that was a big, big understanding for me as I went back into working with a lot of people in person.
Yeah. And coaching, well, our coaching program, it
Yeah,
gives you a language for
correct.
you can do whatever you want with it. Like Mallory, my my assistant, is a physical therapist and she is a trained coach, but her coaching she uses with my clients. It's a
Hmm.
communication tool. It's an awareness tool. It's a like, hey, if you understand these principles, you'll be able to get whatever you want out of life. But
Right.
I love that you went full circle because you thought you were going to be all body work. And then you thought you were going to be all coaching. And then
Hmm.
you came around and you're like using coaching for body work, which I
Yeah.
think it feels so good. It feels so good for my end for so many reasons. I'm like, it's like I feel like I've got like, I feel like we could do this.
Yeah.
I think we could do this. I don't know that we could have done this a year ago or 2 years ago or like, but there is something that has changed in you. I think it's conviction. I think it's confidence. Like you are just so sold and so sure. Your body has changed. Your life has changed. The way you communicate has changed. The way people react and respond to you has changed. And so there's something so pure, so clean, so fun to witness. I think it started when you presented in New Orleans.
Yeah. 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 Well, and you know, to be fair, that New Orleans story was my body work story. It was how I used coaching in my massage practice to build it. And maybe so, maybe that sparked something back in me, you know, and there was a lot of body workers there. Some of them I work with, some of them you work with, some of them we both work with, and they resonated. And just today I had a call with a client who said, "I'm a life coach and a massage therapist. How do I merge these things?" And I was like, "Oh, we
That's
should
easy.
talk, sister. Yeah, like I can show you that."
Mhm.
You know, not everybody's ready. Not everybody has the strategy to start this kind of thing. But if you have an idea, that's the first thing. You need to have an idea. Secondly, find people that are doing it, that have mastered it. I've mastered it for multiple years. I have years of proof and technology techniques on this, and we can show you. We can show you exactly how it works. Um, but I don't think I could have done this without the support and the mentorship of coaching. Like, I think if you'd have just showed me this is how you do it and I went out in the world, I would have probably done some and been okay, but I don't think it would have been my business.
Mhm.
I don't think it would have been enough. So I appreciate the support in the coaching community and the mentorship to be able to go, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Can I take it deeper? Can I take it further? Can I go bigger with it? And then being able to bounce that with you who's already gone through it and knew the process. I think that was huge.
Well, maybe another thing is the world's just ready for it. You know,
Yeah,
maybe we weren't ready and maybe the world wasn't ready. Like
right.
just because I had a hunch 10 years ago doesn't mean we are, you know, it was that was the idea.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was spoken and spoken and spoken and spoken. But it's like it got to a point where I think we both experienced this where the I'll say rejection and resistance was so strong that we were just like, screw it. We can't
yeah,
help it. Like, screw it. And I think we
yeah.
both of, and there's something that happened when we backed out and we just went and did what we wanted to do that it came back to life. So it was really interesting to watch this because you remember this 6, 7 years and we were
Yeah.
looking for these therapists. Like this is where Jackie came
Right.
in. We were like, where are you? But they couldn't understand what we were saying. They couldn't see the potential. And maybe we didn't have enough evidence. We didn't have enough
Maybe.
years of evidence. You know, like one of the girls was saying on the call today, she was like, you don't think I know? I've been watching and now she hit $20,000. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
I started before her. And now she, because she stuck it out, she's making that, you know, so they're watching each other. And so I think we just needed enough to stay in the game long enough to try all the different ways and to have the confidence and competence that you have today. You've been a great example, great leader and role model of that.
It's it's been quite the experience to go through all of it. But yeah, like on this side of it, I feel so solid in this work, in this body work, and teaching it and helping clients get what they need, helping massage therapists, training them, whatever it is. Because I've personally experienced it myself.
Mhm.
And I think that's a huge thing that a lot of modalities and courses and programs are missing. You know, they're selling the dream of something, but I am actually living it. You know, this weekend I will have massage therapists here. Tomorrow I'm taking off with my husband, going to with a couple days with him. Then I'll pick up people from the airport. They'll be here all weekend. I'm going to go meet you in a couple days. After that, my calendar is mine. I have total control. I make excellent money at this. There's no pressure. There's no stress. I did not know I could live like this.
Mhm.
I didn't know that clients would want me to travel across the world and go hang out with them and give them body work. I didn't know that was possible, you know? And I'm living it now and I'm watching it and I'm just like, wow, what else? What else can we do? Where
Yeah.
else can we go with this?
I'm wondering out of everyone listening, if we popped up, if we did pop-up events with, 4 to 6 of us who are doing signature massage and we just like opened up a room to massage therapists and we just did, it's like actually showed them what it was and they got to experience it. I'd be curious if anyone would be interested in that.
Yeah, I'm
We have
down.
we have a place in Florida. We have a place in Colorado. We can go to Chicago. We're going to be going to Vegas, Dallas, Louisiana. We have lots of options where our therapists are. And that might be a way to bring 20, 30 massage therapists into a room where we actually get our hands on them and they get to experience and they can see that you guys are all amazing, making amazing money. You're not burnout. You're more energized than ever.
Yeah.
You all have nights and weekends off. You're with your kids, your family, you're living it up. And I think we need to show them that.
Yeah.
My last question for you is for the person who is listening and they're like, maybe they haven't done the training with us, but they've done a training similar to what we're talking about. And they're saying, yeah, people in my area don't want that, or people don't understand what it is. What would you say? Because
Yeah.
this is something you and I have definitely experienced for years, is having people not understand us.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I would say that there's a way to say it differently in a language that I didn't know how to speak until we learned it. And that was one of the things that I was talking with the lady today about. This a life coach and a massage therapist. I said, we give you an exact script, how to talk about what you do in a human way.
Yeah.
And I've watched you break this down with people over the years when they're, talking about their niche and their modalities and what they do. And it's like this big, long, flowery thing. And it's like, I don't know what any of that means. It's beautiful. It sounds good. Your cards look nice. But to the human who has a 3-second attention span, you've already lost them.
Hmm.
And so making it simple and consistent changed so much in the way I communicated with clients and the way that I was able to market and get them on my table and get them back on my table. And I think that's a skill that a lot of people do not have and are not teaching. And so, again, I'm so appreciative to have learned that directly from you and then now be able to share it with other people that I'm working with and mentoring, other massage therapists and the people that are coming in for CEUs. We're going to break that down.
And
So,
then and then being able to sell packages to your clients, like,
yeah,
right, instead of always looking to fill the next spot,
no,
you know exactly how many clients, you know exactly how many weeks they're going to be
yep,
coming. They've already paid in advance. It's all prepaid. There's no
yep,
more guesswork. So it's sustainable, predictable, profitable, which for those who are listening who are interested in that, Monique she's doing the CEUs I'm sorry, she's doing a 6 week what is like I don't want to
12
say the
week.
name because you
Yeah.
might change it, but she's doing a 12-week program to teach you exactly what she has been doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so if you want to understand the packaging better, you want to learn more about somatics, any of the CDUs that we offer from signature massage, somatics, grow your business, which is the packaging part. It's like how to package, how to promote, how to like to get clear on your message. So she's doing this. And also when she does the CEU, she turns it into a retreat. So you get to go and stay at her cabin and everything is done on site. So I know a lot of you massage therapists need that time away where you're just geeking out, doing body work on each other in real time. So I just want to give you a plug-in for that because I think that this is going to be a game changer for what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. When we talked about that 90-day, project for the massage therapist to teach them all of these things, it was just like, this is what they need to know. This is what they have to have. And just started writing it out. And yeah, it's going to be delivered on a silver platter. I'm excited. We'll start the next one in August. But yeah, if anybody wants information on that, don't hesitate to reach out because we can get you plugged in exactly where you are, whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know?
All right, my friend, thanks for hopping on again,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
for staying in the game,
Yeah.
not giving up, and then being willing to go out and help others do what you're doing. I really appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having the vision for this kind of stuff and letting me be a part of it because it feels so good to have these like connections, and want to do the same thing for people.
Yeah, wasn't that a trip, like feeling so alone and isolated? And now you have some of our clients and coaches from here flying out to go and help you, meet you, be with
Yep.
you. They want to learn from you, and they were your peers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fun.
So all good things.
All right, guys. Until next time, you can wait for an update from Monique. She'll be back around in a few months, I'm sure.